Have you ever heard a place's name and wondered, where did that come from? Some stories are lost to time, but others, like the legend of Demnate, are etched into the very landscape. Let me take you on a journey to a faraway kingdom, a place of beauty, fear, and incredible courage. Once upon a time, there was a princess named Nat. She wasn't just any princess. Her beauty was said to rival the sunrise, and her grace was like a gentle river. Her kingdom was prosperous, but it held a dark secret, a terrible pact. In a nearby cave, known as Nifri, lived a fearsome ogre, and every single year, to keep the ogre from destroying their homes, the villagers had to make an unthinkable sacrifice, a woman who could not have children. This was the price of their peace, a price paid in sorrow and fear. Princess Nat's father, the king, was a man of great wisdom and compassion. He loved his daughter, but he also loved his people. As the time for the annual sacrifice drew near, a heavy shadow fell over the palace. The king's heart ached at the thought of choosing another woman to send to her doom. He looked at his own daughter, so full of life and promise, and his resolve hardened. He declared, no more. He refused to continue the barbaric tradition. He would not sacrifice any woman, let alone his own child, to the monster in the cave. The king believed there had to be another way, a better way to break this cycle of terror. But his defiance, while noble, was also dangerous. What would the ogre do when its tribute didn't arrive? Princess Nat understood the weight of her father's decision. She saw the fear in the eyes of the villagers and the worry on her father's face. She knew that his stand could bring ruin upon them all. So, with a heavy but determined heart, she decided to take fate into her own hands. She would not let her father's love for her be the kingdom's downfall. That night, as the moon cast long shadows across the silent palace, Princess Nat made her escape. She left behind her royal gowns and her comfortable life. Slipping out into the darkness, her goal was clear and terrifying. She would go to the ogre's cave, Nifri, and confront the beast herself. She was determined to end this cruel tradition once and for all, even if it cost her everything. She ran through the night, her heart pounding with a mix of fear and resolve, a lone figure on a quest to save her people. When the sun rose the next morning, a frantic cry echoed through the palace halls. The king had gone to his daughter's chambers only to find her bed empty. Panic seized him. He knew immediately where she must have gone. Fearing the worst, he summoned his most loyal and skilled soldiers. "Find her?" he commanded, his voice trembling. "Follow her to Nifri and bring her back safely." The soldiers, loyal to their king and their princess, set off at once. They charged through the dense forests and navigated the treacherous mountain paths, their one and only mission to find Princess Nat before it was too late. The trail was difficult, but the thought of the princess facing the ogre alone spurred them onward. After a grueling journey, the soldiers finally arrived at the entrance to the Nifri cave. The air was cold and heavy with dread. And then they saw it, a sight that made their blood run cold. Splattered across the jagged rocks at the mouth of the dark cave were drops of crimson blood. It was unmistakable. In that moment, their hope turned to despair. They had failed. They were too late. A heart-wrenching cry tore from their throats, a collective wail of grief and shock that echoed through the desolate mountains. "Demnate!" they screamed. Demnate, which in their language meant, "This is Nat's blood." The words, filled with sorrow, hung in the air, a testament to their terrible discovery. The soldiers returned to the kingdom with heavy hearts, their tragic news spreading like wildfire. The kingdom mourned the loss of its brave princess, but as time went on, something remarkable happened. The story of Princess Nat's sacrifice was told and retold. It was passed down from parents to children, from one generation to the next. She wasn't remembered as a victim, but as a hero, a princess who stared fear in the face to save her people. Her courageous act had, in fact, broken the curse. The ogre was never heard from again. And those words, the ones cried out in grief by the soldiers, "Demnate," began to change. They lost their sorrowful edge and instead became a symbol of her bravery. People started to say the name of the place with reverence and pride. Over many years, as the tale was polished by countless retellings, the phrase Demnate fused together. It evolved into a single word, Demnate. The village, once living in the shadow of a monster, was reborn with a new name, a name that served as an eternal tribute to the princess who sacrificed herself for peace. And so, the land became known as Demnate, forever linked to the memory of a princess who defied a cruel tradition and became a legend. So the next time you travel and hear an unusual place name, remember the story of Demnate. Sometimes, Behind a simple name lies a tale of incredible courage, love, and sacrifice. Thanks for joining me on this journey into legend. If you love stories like this, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next adventure. See you next time.